What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Halo Infinite and talk about if this game can be saved. Now, I know, coming right off the bat, something like that, the title, that kind of subject matter, I get it. There's going to be a lot of hate. There's going to be people that don't agree with me, so let me just start off by saying this. I completely respect other people's opinions, okay? This is just my opinion. We're going to go off of some things that actually 343 has said, okay? We're going to go based off of actual statements, but, again, these are only my assumptions. These are only the things that I'm thinking. If you don't agree, it's totally cool, okay? We can all kind of, and I'm going to be getting this game day one. I'm excited for this game. Should probably make that clear as well, right? I'm not an Xbox hater. I'm not a Halo hater. All of those things. All right, with all of that being said, with that all being behind us, let's get into this. In all honesty, okay, this game does have a lot of trouble. You're not going to get me to budge, let's say, off of something like that. This game, I think, because this game was hidden for 3 years, and then when it came out, again, expectations were going to be pretty darn high, right? Obviously, that's what's going to happen in the case of this game. And when we saw it at the Xbox Game Showcase, again, my own impressions, I was not impressed. I was not impressed with this game at all. Even if you want to say that you were impressed, okay, that you thought this game was fine, one of the biggest things that were addressed, basically when this game was first announced, is how it looks, okay, visually how the game looks. We've seen people make some pretty funny memes, again, whether I guess you agree with it or disagree with it, but we've seen some people make some pretty funny memes, really go at the state of how this game looks. Look, honestly, it's not, and I will address that, and that is a big part of it, but the larger thing is, well, 343 came out, and they came out Thursday night, I believe, so this was a little while ago, and they basically addressed a lot of the issues, basically criticism, right? They said, hey, we were planning on getting it in your hands, kind of like a beta, right? We were planning on having the beta. We're still hoping to do that, although there's been a lot of rumors that that's not going to happen. Remember, there was even the rumor that was shot down immediately, but there was a rumor that came out that multiplayer wouldn't even be ready at launch. And now, again, you couple that with them saying, hey, we might not be able to do the whole, you guys get to test it out for us part. You put those things together, although they did deny that, and they did say, no, that's absolutely not true, it will be there day one, you still have to wonder. You have to wonder those things, and we've seen a lot of rumors that the game will be free to play. Are they getting rid of Xbox Live, right, where you don't need to have that in order to play games online? Having it be free to play, so just anybody could have it. It's not really connected to Halo Infinite, which, again, is that fine? Actually, I think that's a pretty solid idea. So are there negatives throughout the entire thing? No. I mean, you can definitely find some positives, but in that basically letter to the fans, they had addressed a lot of things, and one of the things they talked about were the concerns, especially how the game looks. And they talked about how they were using obviously they had said it before, right, that they were using a PC build, running with the specs of the Series X, or however they described it, and they said it was running on a build from a few weeks ago, and they didn't, with I guess features, right, different things with the engine, with all this different stuff that wasn't finished yet. So it doesn't represent the end product. Now, here's what I'll say. I'm more than willing to give games the okay that okay, well, they do have time to improve it, so we don't have to say, all right, well, it's going to be exactly what they've shown us. However, you do see in the past, oftentimes games when they come out, most times don't look as good as they did when they were first shown. So even using this example, it didn't look all that great, right? I even made that point in the video. Now, again, is it the biggest thing in the world for me, the fact that it didn't look all that great? No. Visually, and if we're talking about visually, can this game be saved? I don't know. I honestly do not know if the visuals of this game can be saved. I would go back to the same argument I've made for the Crysis Remastered. So Crysis Remastered came out on the Nintendo Switch, okay? But it was delayed on everything else. And it was delayed from what they said only a few months. They're not delaying it a year. They're not delaying it a mass amount of time because they're just working on the visuals. People were very disappointed with what people saw, people themselves were very disappointed with what they saw in the Crysis Remastered trailer, the trailer that was leaked out the day before it was supposed to be, formally, revealed. And again, what I said with that was, all right, well, the issue is, can you actually fix something that big? Because you can only do so much. Can you actually fix that in just a little bit of time? So let me just literally use that exact same argument. With Halo, to me, the biggest thing that was the disappointing part, because again, and I've said this before, did I think the reveal of the gameplay and all that stuff was bad? No, I never said bad. Disappointing is the word I would use. I thought it was disappointing. Again, if you didn't think that, completely cool. So again, I mean, you can talk about visuals. I didn't think the visuals looked all that great, but again, I'm not going to hamper on them. But if we're talking about visuals for the sake of argument and for the sake of this video, for them to say like, all right, well, we were using a build from a few weeks ago. Well, that's not all that reassuring, right? Because if you were using it from a few weeks ago, I mean, that's not all that. It's not like you were using it from a year ago's build, okay? And besides that, you only have 4 months until this game comes out. So again, they know that there is an actual problem with, and like, now again, you may not want to hamper on visuals. You may say, you know, I'm so sick and tired of people talking about the visuals of this game. That's fine. You can argue that. But at the same time, when 343 themselves address it in a statement to people, you know it's an issue. I mean, there's factually, it's now an issue because they've even agreed with people and said, yes, we're not happy with how it looks. We know it doesn't look good. We want to fix it. The problem there, though, lies in, are they telling the truth? Can they actually fix something like this in a couple months? My response, I would say no. Now, again, when it comes down to it, are visuals the most important thing in the game? I would say actually not. Visuals, to me, are not the most important thing of a game. I think the gameplay probably rules out. I mean, do I want to look at a terrible-looking game throughout its entire duration? No. But, I mean, nobody said Halo Infinite looked terrible, right? In fact, again, as I've said before, it just looks like more Halo. So I'm not saying it looks terrible, but I'm saying gameplay probably always wins out. If the game sucks to play, you're not going to be able to play through it the whole time unless I guess, again, the reverse of it, the visuals, the storytelling, everything else is absolutely like astounding. Then maybe you'll put up with how bad the game feels. Okay, so I mean, obviously, again, there are examples that you can kind of use to say, well, that's not true for everything. But for the most case, right, I would just say, again, using the Crysis Remastered argument, I don't know how much they're going to... Now, again, am I saying they're going to be able to fix nothing, that nothing is going to be improved by the time the game comes out? No. But by them saying, like, we know there's issues, it was running on a few weeks ago's build, we want to improve it, like, we're still working on things, it should look better when it comes out. Firstly, that's not all that reassuring. Secondly, you do admit that it was pretty bad. And thirdly, again, it's not like you're using a build from a year ago. You're using a build of a game that's 4 months away. And that's not a lot of time to fix something. And if they think... Now, nobody said catastrophic. Nobody said terrible, right? They didn't say, oh, we know our game looks awful, right? They didn't say that. But they did address that there is a problem. Can they fix something that big, an actual problem that big, with only a couple months? I don't think so. I truly do not think the visual will be fixed all well. And again, you can look at other examples of games where normally when you get the games, most of the time there's downgrades. Most of the time, you know, people always make the videos. There's even people that basically specialize on that, right? Where you can look at how a game performed, all of the different specs that the game was running on, and all of that stuff from, let's say, 2 years ago, 2018. And I think even this did happen with like The Last of Us. People did for The Last of Us. How did the game run 2 years ago at E3 versus right now? And a lot of times there are drops. So for this game to already look a little shaky, now again, is it the biggest deal in the world for me? No, not necessarily. But the game does look shaky. I mean, I am going to say that. And for it to look shaky now, when the game actually comes out, it's going to be tough. And it honestly does kind of hurt the thought process that, you know, you always have Phil Spencer going out there and saying this is the world's most powerful console. Anybody that works for Microsoft, you know, they're out there touting this as the most powerful game console. And I get it. Halo can run on Xbox One as well, and I think that will actually lower its ceiling. It's going to lower how high this game is going to be able to perform. But you have them saying all that, and then the game has these kind of problems. It doesn't look all that good. Okay, the more you hamper on it, the more they even address it, the more it's like, okay, already, and because again, I want this game to succeed. I'm buying this game day one. I'm still going to do it. I'm not put off by the game, you know, by its visuals or by, again, the fact that I think it's disappointing. I'm still getting it. I'm still absolutely giving it a chance. That's the kind of person I am, okay? I like to give games as many chances as possible. I want to experience this game. But, again, it's very hard to ignore that seems like this game has some problems, and that's not good. That's absolutely not good. And again, coming from them, coming from what they've said, and coming from their flagship game, this is their biggest game. This would be like if the PS5 launched with Uncharted 5, and it had all these problems leading into it, wouldn't be the greatest thing in the world, right? There'd be a lot of people saying, ooh, you know, what's going on there? So you have to think of all these things. Can it be saved in general? I mean, I think it can be a really, really good game. I'm not saying like, oh, just because if these visuals aren't fixed all the way, the game's going to be a piece of garbage. No, I think this game can still be an amazing game. I think this game is still going to, by the way, I think this game is going to sell Xbox Series X's. This game is going to sell Xbox Ones. Halos have always sold the console. So I have no worries about Halo doing well. Halo's going to do fine. Will it do as good as past games? Will it continue kind of a downward trend in terms of quality? We'll have to see. I mean, those are things we'll have to see when the game comes out. But I still am hopeful of this game. I'm always going to be hopeful until something really, really drastic happens. But I did just want to address that there definitely seems to be issues. So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think of the visuals of Halo Infinite? Do you think they need to be fixed? Are you worried about how the way Microsoft and 343 basically has addressed these issues? Do you think they can be fixed in time? All these things, let me know in the comments. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I truly appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.